Hey guys, welcome to Wise Kracks. Bill Krackomberger here. We're going to be joined shortly by Jon Orlando, hopefully, and of course Randy McKay throughout the NFL season. Randy will be on here shortly, but I want to talk about a couple things here. First, I met someone that works in a sports book, and he actually came up to me. I did not know him, and he said, "Crack, can you help me? I'm trying to win betting sports, and I work in such and such sports book." So my first thing was, "What do you do? Are you a teller? Are you a?" And no, he's actually in risk. I said, "Wait a minute, time out, time out. You're in risk in a sports book, which means you're actually making decisions on how much to take from people or seeing which way people are betting." And I said, "You know, every sports book in town, including yours, I'm sure you guys bet out. So in other words, you take bets off sharp people. You know which ones are winning accounts. I'm not going to say sharp people, winning accounts, and you could bet them yourself because they're betting them obviously." Uh, Maybe a couple minutes early before they move, or maybe they don't even move, and maybe they're just like when I was at Pinnacle, 25 years ago. There's guys that actually it's more than that now. And yeah, 99. That's 25. So guy you used to have kids that were betting $25 to $50 a game, $50, and literally, uh, the people at the book used to be like, "Whoa, these guys are coming in for 25 to $50, and they beat us every year out of $1,000, $2,000 in college basketball, or college football, or even the totals one kid was beating us at, and we'd make more than them." So, and a lot of the traders would. So, I wasn't actually in trade, but I was there though. But anyway, uh, that's what I would say. Listen, take your percentage of bankroll and start betting on this stuff with some other sports books in town. They're not going to move off you. So if you got $1,000 to put up in an account, bet $20 to $30. I'll tell you what, you can maybe even bet more if you're just betting props for something. I have no problem when you're betting $50 on the prop bets, just kicking it out. They're not going to move the line off of $25 to $50 bets that you're going to be betting, because some originators like myself, I would get mad at that sometimes. I bet a certain sports book in town, and other sports book would move. So of course I gave them dummy bets, fake bets, and I would see them move. Well, then this is wonderful. I'm going to start giving you false bets or the wrong way, and and they stopped after a while. But so anyway, that is something that I recommended to him, and I actually took his phone number down. So I took his phone number down. Just I said, "Listen, if you need help with something or you want to talk to me or something, I'm not going to give him any information on games or bets, but I tried to get some more information out to him via text already, and told him about, listen, if you can't control your emotions, you're living in a tough town. This town's so tough to live in. This is Vice Central. I always say drinking, drugs, women, gambling. There's so many different things. If you can't control any of it, if you have a problem with any of them, you're not going to win with the sharpest information in the world, because you're going to overbet after you lose. You're going to get upset at something. You're going to bet more on something. You're going to bet your own stuff, which, believe it or not, that's what everyone wants to do. They want to bet their own stuff. Well, to be honest with you, most of you guys lose. So that's just, it's normal. It's the human condition. We want to bet our own stuff. We want to tap ourselves on the back and say, we came up with a winner here and there. And, I even told myself, listen, I'm going to lose 43 out of 100 bets, 43 out of 100. So there's going to be a lot of losses, but that winning, at 55% or more, really 54%, you're going to make a lot of money. I want to make a lot of money because I'm going to have that bankroll management and that skill set of not chasing and not going crazy when I'm in that 43% loss range, and they may be losing, 3 out of 4 games or 5 out of 8 games, whatever it may be, or losing the last game on the schedule that I bet. I don't bet just because the next game's on TV or it's a night game. That's not me, and that's not the way you're going to make money. So try to help the kid a little bit and see what happens. It's just something I thought about. I know what goes on in sports books, but believe it or not, it doesn't go on in other sports books, but yet they gamble. So if you're gambling and you're working on a book and you're betting your own stuff, shame on you. Um, Next, I want to get into another subject. There's a German restaurant in town. So I had some family that came into town. We all went to that Hofbräu house. And I just seen this on another podcast, the M2M, I think it's a good podcast that I listen to once in a while. I really like the guys. I'm going to give it to you one second. So I'm going to give you the right name. Miles to Memories. I like those guys. I talk about them a lot. That matter of fact, I'll say it now. So Miles to Memories, I watch, and I watch Las Vegas Advisor. I watch them every week. I'm even a Patreon subscriber to I really think they have some good stuff of what's going on. I learn stuff from them. And I try to repeat some of the stuff to you, but I always want to give them the credit. So anyway, they talked about Hofbrauhaus. I went there. It's touristy, you know. They have the wooden paddles and they'll hit you on the butt with it, and the waitress or whatever, and they have the big pretzels, the German style thing, and the big steins of beer, and the band, and singing in German, and singing the German accents and stuff. It's fun. It's touristy though. The real German food here in town, Cafe Berlin. It's a really good restaurant in town. I think the quality of the foods they're much better than Hofbrauhaus. And to be honest with you, the service isn't all that great at Hofbrauhaus either. I found bad service there a couple times, but you're in this big Hofbrauhaus setting, which over in Germany they have one too that's like 400 and some years old. So I guess it's on the corner of Paradise and Harmon, right across from Caddy Corner from the Virgin Hotel and Casino. Also, speaking of Virgin, I heard they're moving again. Their Mohegan Sun is taking their casino portion away, and it's going to go over back into the hands of the Virgin guys, and that would be good for someone like me because they never offered anything any good over there. The video poker selection, the gambling selection in general, just not good. So I talked to someone over there, and that's going to be changing hands. I look forward to that. Can't wait to get into that. That was one of my properties. I loved when it was the Hard Rock. I had great connections there, and I loved the place. It was just like one of my to-go spots. Closest place to the airport, by the way. I had this thing written down here. Wanted to argue. Yeah. Oh, so a buddy of mine, I can't even believe, sometimes, again, they just don't want to learn. The guy says to me, if you play a higher denomination, it's a better payback. I seen that on the payback percentage and the monthly Las Vegas numbers. I said, yes, you're right. If it's a real, not video poker, the payback is on the screen. So if it's 9-6 jacks, that's the 1 coin payout for the full house and the flush, so on and so on. There's a deuces game that's 16-10 that I like. It's like 99.7 game. That means all the money you put in with basic with the strategy chart, you should only lose pennies on the dollar. So I can't believe he wanted to argue with me. It's the same thing for that. There's no separation. You get paid back more. This is a guy that's around me. I'm like, okay, you know what? I have to realize. I tell him once, but I have to realize you don't want to argue with people. It's like I always say about my dad with video poker. He was to tell me, Bill, you're ruining the game for me, and you're telling me how to play. I just have fun with this, and he was right. Dad, you're right. Play like you want. You're playing $1.25 a hand. I'm the one financing it for you. If you lose, don't worry about it. I'll give you the money back or whatever. And so going back to this guy, this guy's around me, and he's telling me that video poker, if you play higher denominations, it's a better payback. I'm not really trying to make fun of him or anything, but I'm more saying I don't have many friends in town. So to keep the friendship, I actually said, you know what? You could be right. I hate to lie to the guy, but he kept on being persistent on that, yesterday I was over at the Link for the first time. The Link? Yeah, the Link. It's the old Imperial Palace. And I was over there, and I wanted to go to there's a great hat store. Wish I knew the name of it. There's a hat store right in the promenade there, the Link Promenade. You know what? I did take a video, so I should know what the name of the place was. But yeah, there's I think it's a Link Promenade, and it's called. So I went over there, went to the Hat Loft. It's called the Hat Loft at the Link Promenade. So I wanted to park at the Link. I've never parked there. I think maybe once, and I have a very good sense of direction. I want to tell you something. That's easily the most confusing property in this town. I parked in the garage, and you're parked like across from another garage. You have to connect there, go down, go around. I couldn't believe it. John, are you there?
Yeah, I've been here for 10 minutes listening.
Yeah, have you
been? I couldn't agree more. It's
Oh.
awful. I couldn't agree more with you.
John, I have a great sense of direction. So I did, just for me to get lost inside of a casino in Vegas is unbelievable. So yeah. I go to the Link. I go to the Hat Loft, which they have these great hats. Kangal's put up some different style hats, almost like these British kind of hats, really cool. And but they're like this. They're like the hat like this, but they have more of a shape to them. So I went over there and to trade hats in. Someone bought me a hat. I wanted to just get a different color, a different size, and that was very nice of them to think I have a large head. I have an extra large head, so just to let you know. But yeah, so I thought it was so cool there, but I couldn't find my way around. I was like, this is unbelievable. How many different things you have to go through, and so I finally found my way to the old O'Shea's. The last time I was at O'Shea's, it was packed. Could not believe how packed O'Shea's was. Unbelievable. The environment was great. People were drinking, having a good time. I went yesterday, which should have been like 5 o'clock at night. There was like 4 people in there at the bar, and like none of the tables were open. It was like, wow, this is a shell of itself. But the outside area, that Link Promenade, so nice. There's so many places out there. I can't believe Caesars just got rid of it, by the way. So they actually just sold it off. Yeah, they sold it off for like a lot of money. For like, I don't know, almost $300 million to pay down some of their debt. I don't know. Maybe Tony Orlando bought it. I don't know who bought it. Yeah. So they sold it off to someone private or some company private, and to buy down their debt a little bit. But that it is an In-N-Out burger there. It's the busiest In-N-Out burger in the country, supposedly. And just walking over there by the big Ferris wheel and stuff, I thought it was pretty cool back there. Now I haven't been back there in years. The last time I was there was a Brooklyn Bowl there. I don't know if it's still there. I think it is. I seen it. Robert Plant in there. Robert Plant was so good. Lead singer Led Zeppelin.
Performing?
So good. Yes, he was in there. He was in the Brooklyn Bowl. It was unbelievable. For like $40, there was 1,000 people in there, and Robert Plant was in there singing with a female. She was great too. But and that was like maybe 5-6 years when they first opened, maybe longer than that. But yeah, so their hats are there. They have a really cool hat store there, and I liked it there. I just couldn't believe how confusing the Link was. And it was quiet, it was dark, there was no one in there. It's a midweek in Las Vegas, our weather's been terrible now. We had great weather though. I can't complain. We had really good weather, but it was so windy this last week. It kind of put a damper on people going outside. But it was great out there, and like I said, we've had some great weather. I can't complain. It's still 70 degrees, 65 to 70 in November. What's going on? Where are you at, by the way?
Man, I just drove. I've been in this car.
Were you driving for Uber now? You could tell me after.
I've been in this car for 2.5 hours, and let me tell you where I went. Nowhere. I've been trying to go to SEMA.
Yesterday, I did that.
Yeah.
There's a convention in town, obviously.
SEMA. It's this like aftermarket car parks. Like
where Link is, that's the worst thing to do. Get out of there and go in the back way there over by the wind. I was stuck in traffic for hours because of F1 though, John. Let's face it. The F1
and then all this construction
destroyed the roads for F1. Yeah.
I've been trying to get to this convention for literally 2 hours. I was going to do the show from the convention in front of the cool cars and stuff. That would be kind of cool. And I never made it there. And I have a meeting in Aria after that. So after our show, so I had to just bail out of trying to go to the convention, get to Aria, and I'm in the Aria parking garage. I missed everything I tried to do today. Missed everything.
Okay.
Been in this car literally since 12:30. It's 3 p.m.
We'll give you a pass.
And I went nowhere. And I'm sick. I got this nonsense. I don't sound good, huh? Or does it sound kind of?
No, I can hear you.
Listen, I don't want to say sexy, but I mean,
it's been going around.
Must be no one thinks it's sexy.
Yeah,
it's a little sexy.
John, last thing before we bring Randy on.
Yeah,
I was reading this thing about the gamblers. Not reading. Sorry, it was on YouTube. I never realized internationally in Europe and Australia how bad the gamblers are. I've been watching a couple specials. Oh my God. Gambling is just so widespread worldwide, and the under 25 crowd is really being hit hard in Europe and Australia. And
and you mean the fact that they're gambling, or do you mean they're actually bad gamblers?
Oh well, let me be blunt. That means the same, especially the under 25 crowd. Yeah. No, they are. Most of the males, the frontal lobe of your brain doesn't mature at that young age in your early 20s and until your mid 20s or late 20s even, and they don't have this control mechanism inside of them to stop. And of course, these companies are targeting the young people. That, by the way, this is hardworking people in the suburbs, and most people are bad at calculating probability anyway. But this is not only for sports. I'm talking about sports, but it's the machines. But this is more betting on soccer and stuff over there. But everything in Australia, they call them the pokies. They have pokey bars everywhere. I think we talk about this right in the show. It's so bad. I think it's bad here. Oh my God! Like I always say, I know I'm a broken record, and I say every college in America has a gambling problem. Over there, it's like every town has been hit with gambling problems. These kids, but yeah, watching these shows on YouTube. I love YouTube, by the way. I even pay the $18 a month for no commercials, and it's a great. They have so many great shows on you. I'm not talking about YouTube TV. I'm talking about regular YouTube.
Right.
So, listen on these different podcasts. Yeah.
How much money do you think you spend a month on subscriptions? Do you know?
Not much. No.
Well, really?
Let's go down a list.
I'll go down a list and you tell me if you have it. Okay.
Yeah.
Netflix.
Of course.
Hulu.
Which house doesn't have Netflix?
I agree. I'm with you. Okay. Hulu.
No.
Paramount Plus.
No.
HBO Max.
No.
Really? Amazon Prime.
Amazon. I get that free though somehow. How do I get it free? I don't know. I get it free. I think my wife belongs to Prime or something, right? So maybe we get it free.
Disney Plus. Disney Plus.
No.
Oh, none of that.
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, we have HBO because I always think I want to watch The Sopranos over and over again, which I never get to watch.
Right.
You have HBO, but someone told me to watch. What's the prison show on HBO? Everyone said it was great years ago.
Orange is the New Black?
No, I've seen that, but I actually seen a season
Prison
of that.
Break? No,
I thought it was very good. No, this is an old one. This is an old one that's on HBO. Everyone tells me how good it was. And anyway, it's
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we can bring Randy and they'll figure it out. Oh, so the show I was thinking of, I think is Oz.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oz.
Yeah.
Really good, right?
Yeah. Great show.
Never seen it, but I plan to eventually see it. That's the reason why I kept HBO. I think.
Okay.
Let's talk about before we bring. Well, Randy's here. Hey, with the Masters hat, real wise guy with the Masters hat. Randy won a lot of money with that Masters hat, including he sent me a text yesterday of a $20,000 Royal that he hit. Where was that Royal at, Randy?
Sunday here in Blackhawk at a Caesars property. First time cracking them for a long time.
Oh boy, do I want to crack Caesars just for throwing me out. Okay, so our sponsor, heritagesports.eu. I just clicked on their site again, and they just shock me every time. Maybe because Bitcoin has went up a lot over the last 24 to 48 hours. And so it says Bitcoin has went up 14.15% this month. If you're a Bitcoin depositor, then we're going to give you that 14.15 of your average daily balance in the account of a free play. So it's one bonus that they're having right now for Bitcoin, but they also have 108 juice. That means it's a 20% reduction of when you go to make a bet, and let's say you bet 110 to 100, you're only betting 108 to 100. So you get a 20% discount. Even on top of that bonus, they have you to get out of your bet halftime. They pick a game once a month there for that, just to get out of your bet at halftime, which I like. What that means is if up to $250, you can, if you bet something and you don't like the way it's going, you can get out of your game. What are you saying, John?
I was going to say, will you explain? I know, believe it or not, I do know, but I just wanted you to explain for the true degenerates like myself that have been quoted as saying the difference from the 110 to the 108 is not that big of a deal. Will you explain to the degenerates like me that are still going and paying ITM card fees? Right. Over time, over like a long sample size of, let's say, 2 or 3 years of gambling, it's a big difference.
If you bet 10 games a week, 10 games a week, and let's say you lose 5, which you're supposed to, you're even if it's $100 a game, literally you're saving $10 a week. $10 a week times 50 weeks. And at Heritage Sports.eu, they're offering both. And by the way, they've been around 30 years. You're not playing with a place that hasn't been in business a long time. And some people were telling me, oh, they only take Bitcoin deposits. They only pay in Bitcoin. That's not true.
Right.
I talked to them. That's not true. There is ways you can get a regular payout. All right. So with that, let's bring in Randy. Randy McKay, famous for his Masters hat and Royal Jackpots. And also, I'm glad you have a hat on this week. Some of the people last week were saying you got to have a hat. So just like it is with this. But yeah, so Randy, let's hear it is John with his LA hat. Of course, it's
The LA champion.
he would have had. Oh wow, yeah, he would have had a Yankee hat on if they won. But that's okay. That's the way John rolls. I get it. Randy, let's first start out with. Last week was one of those weeks where a lot of people had tough games on these dogs, and I get it. It happens. But you're having a good season. You're all your teasers. I think every leg of the teaser won. So your teaser was great. Can you give us how many sides you're on up front, and then we'll explain the games after? How many sides you got in the NFL?
We got 3 sides and 1 teaser available.
I'll pull up the odds. Let's start with your NFL sides, Randy. Go ahead.
First one, Cincinnati +6 or 6.5 right away on Thursday night.
6.5 here in town. I see Circa at 6.5 right now. So they just moved. Like you must have bet it because it was 6.5 before we came on air. I just checked that line. All right. So
what is it now?
+6 -05 at many shops. NGM Westgate -08. Of course, we got Pinnacle -104. DraftKings -$1.12 and all 6 flats everywhere else in town. All right. What's the next 2?
Pittsburgh +3.
Oh boy.
Probably a little juice there.
Yeah, we're on the opposite side there. All right. I got the money line with the both win. Yep. All right. Pittsburgh +3 -$1.15 in here in town. $1.20. And what's the last one?
I have teased them up as well, but the last one is Denver +8.5 or 8.
After last week's destruction. Okay, +8, and I'm sure you're going to get 8.5 at game time. 8.5 right now, -$1.10 at MGM, +8 at most other shops. There's your 3 sides. All right, start your explaining, buddy. What's going on with this first game, the Bengals?
And it's funny, you brought up Bitcoin. I just noticed it's 75,000 a Bitcoin.
Unbelievable.
And I used to have 20 of them at one time.
You had 20 Bitcoin?
I used to. I have about 2 or 3 now. But
One's
Oh my
wonderful.
God.
You got 2 or 3 more than me. Cincinnati versus Baltimore, taking the points. Why do you like them?
Short week, division rival game. You remember the last time they played? Shootout, went to overtime. Cincinnati, a little, not the best coaching in the world, not the best coach. You're on the wrong side of the coaching edge in this game, but this is too many points in the division rival game. I thought the spot to bet against Baltimore was last week. I was wrong. They came out and they took it to the Denver Broncos there. I was surprised how easily they moved it on the Denver defense, which has been strong all year. But I like getting the points here with a team that can score, one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Fortunately, got some bad news right before we came on that probably the wide receiver T. Higgins ain't going to play. But, these teams are used to playing each other. The defensive coach for Cincinnati, Lou Anarumo is his name, and a hard last name to say. Probably from I think he's from your area, Crackman, with the Italian accent there. I know he's a New Yorker. But he's been a very good defensive coach. Keep this game close. So put me on Cincinnati.
Big total there, 53.5. Wow, they're really betting that game up. Opened up 51 or 52, depending on where the 2 opening shops were. Okay, Cincinnati, the first one. And your second one, let's see, what did you say? Denver was your second one? Or was that your third? What doesn't matter. We're talking about
Pittsburgh is the second.
Oh, Pittsburgh. Yep. You can get +3, minus $1.14 right now. Pinnacle minus $1.
No, I wasn't 110 at South Point for a while there and ran part. I seen for a while, but they must have got bought off of that, and that number will keep fluctuating back and forth. And like we talked earlier, there's people on the opposite sides here. So the reason I like this one, Tomlin, very good off a bye week. And they come into this game with more preparation for that. I think he's like, I don't know, 7 out of his last 8 or something. I saw something very good. And he's very good against rookie quarterbacks. You know, he's a defensive coach. So his schemes are usually very good against this very, very good rookie quarterback. Be rookie of the year for sure, and has an outside shot at the MVP for the league, this Daniels kid.
Yes. Lots of people
good.
want to bet against him. Lots of people want to bet against Washington every week, and Washington is just pummeling everybody. So let's see what happens here. Big week. I don't think much about Pittsburgh, that team. Some of the games this year that they won, I thought maybe they shouldn't even have won. So I'm not thinking too much about them. I bet the money line on Washington. However, like I said, we both can win here. Let's go to the Denver game. Denver getting about 8.5 versus Kansas City after last week losing 41-10 versus Baltimore. Why do you like Denver?
All right, I'll do Denver, and then I had another note on Pittsburgh there that'll finish up.
Okay.
With. But Denver plus 8.5. This KC team we've seen come off an overtime win. They just grind out wins. They usually don't win by margin. They're 4-4 against the spread, and they were an underdog one time, and I believe I was on them when they're the underdog. But as a big favorite like this, they're going to be pretty much a go against the rest of the season here, especially an undefeated team. You're going to get some extra points here. This line's come down a little bit, but you know, and this is another division rivalry spot. You know, that Denver comes off a poor performance on defense. Their defense will hold up here a little bit. You know, Bo Nix has been a smart rookie quarterback, and this game should be close, come right down to the wire. And getting plus 8.5, I see as value.
I would lean to that side too. You know, Kansas City just doesn't seem to cover games. So except when they're underdog, I think they were underdog versus Baltimore, I think. But go back to your last point on Pittsburgh. I cut you off.
Well, yeah, this is the best defense that the Washington team and Daniels has seen this year. So Pittsburgh's known for their defense. They got one of the best defensive players in the game, especially on the D line with Watt and Hayward. You know, and that's going to give that Washington offensive line some trouble here. So I can see Pittsburgh, mucking it up, being one of those ugly Pittsburgh type style games here. So getting points at a premium. So that's why I like the Pittsburgh side.
Awesome. All right, let's get into the teasers. What do you have?
All right. And the one has moved. I had Miami up to 8.5, but I think you can still get 7.5 on a teaser against the Rams there on Monday night.
Are they playing Monday night? That's why I don't have them on here. They're 1.5. I see 1.5 at the Win, 1.5 at Pinnacle, one. So yeah, you want to take them through the key numbers of 7, 3 and 7. So if it's 6 or 6.5 point teaser, Miami, the Miami side, is that the side you want?
Yeah, take the Miami side up. This game will be a shootout, but these two teams won't get away from each other, and getting that many points, I don't see it being above a touchdown game either way. So that's how I see that game. And the game to pair with is the LA Chargers teasing a home favorite down against a weak Tennessee team coming off. I like to bet against teams that played overtime the week before. This is another one. Tennessee played that overtime game. For some reason, the Patriots coach didn't go for 2. Lucky for me in contest, lucky for both of us.
Yes.
Game landed 3. At least got
there was -2.5 at one place and 3.5 in another place. Circa and Westgate, it landed right in the middle. So that worked out for us contest-wise.
Yeah, I don't know why that coach didn't go for 2. I don't know why the Tampa Bay coach didn't go for 2 against the Chiefs. That didn't make any sense to me, but I'm glad he didn't. And then the Tennessee kicked the field goal. We were a little unlucky that it went that far. We should have had to cover, but them are the two teams I like this week on the teasers.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That I don't really like teasing road teams, but I understand you're saying the team should be back and forth with it. I'm referring to the Miami game. Miami, but I understand. I understand that.
Why don't you like doing that, Bill?
Man, I just, especially road favorites. I think Randy will agree with me here, though I don't think I talked to him about it here, but I just hate teasing like 7.5 point road favorites or down to, under the 7 and the 3. I'd rather have them home just to win the game outright. Randy, would you agree?
Yeah, you're never supposed to tease a road favorite
Right.
down like that.
Like the Eagles game minus 7.5. I don't want to tease them versus, even though Dallas is terrible, I don't want to tease them in that situation on the road. I'd rather tease the Chargers at home versus a Tennessee team that has just been awful this year. They have struggled to beat New England. I mean, they have just been awful this year. And I would agree with that Chargers side. And the Miami side, too. It looks like a good teaser. I'm going to maybe jump on that myself. So, good teaser. John, how you been doing in the NFL, John? I don't even ask you. You're not saying much, so that might tell me a lot.
I haven't really been betting too much. To be
All right,
honest,
that means John's losing. All right, Randy, go back to you. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, no, I did make a few last week. Maybe a parlay. That was just horrible. Like I think I was like 2 for 5 last week. Terrible.
I just my co-host. Go ahead, Randy.
I had a parlay for you last week, John. I'm glad you weren't on the podcast. So would have lost Denver and under. So
Right. No, I had a co-host on my Fox show that for years he's never said anything because he's listened to me and he's now a really pretty astute gambler. And out of nowhere, he said this week, he goes, "Man, did you bet I got 9 out of 10?" And then he stopped. Like, oh shit. Yeah, I had a, and he said, and now
he did a 10-teamer.
Oh, he said, now he admitted, he's like, listen, I have to admit it, I do that every week. I bet a 10-teamer, but it's only for 10% of his average bet. So if he bets $100 in the game, he's betting a $10 10-teamer. Have fun with it. I have no problem with that. But that's how the sports books make all their money, though, is on these people, I always say, trying to make a grain of sand into a beach. So I get it, though. I get it. That's what
I try to do 3 to 5 teams if I'm gonna do it.
If you're gonna do anything, and I don't recommend parlays at all, but you just stick to the 3-teamer then. If you're forced to do that, payout wise. But
if you get free bets or boosts, that's the best. If you want to put in them kind of bets, that's the best way to do that.
Randy's right. So if you get boosts or you get free bets or something like that, you want to try to maximize them. Maybe even take money line dogs or something like that. Try to make the little bit of money into a lot of money as a free bet. Am I saying that right, Randy?
Yeah, or use futures. I just made I took the New York Rangers at 11-1. I got a $500 free bet. So got a little sweat on the Rangers for the season.
Oh, nice. I'll give you that. Perfect. Well, all right, guys. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, John. Wise Kracks. We'll be back next week. Appreciate you guys commenting, subscribing. I always get back to you guys. And thanks again. We'll see you next week.